RTII is response to instruction and intervention, and basically what that means is we look at what we're already doing in our core program, what we're teaching and reading, and we respond to that in a way to see what we recognize what is being taught. We look at what kids are learning, and we figure out where the deficit is and what kids are not learning, and from that we respond in a way that we teach the kids who need it. And also from that we respond to intervention. So as we have intervention, we have we've practiced something with children many times, then we test and we see again, oh, what are they still missing, what more do they need, and we respond to that as well. So it's just a constant change. We see what the kids need, we give them what they need, we reassess, and we continue to do that. It's just a cycle over and over again until we get every kid and they've all made progress and they've all met goals. It's good for kids for lots of reasons. First of all, they love it. In first grade we call it reading club, and every day it's reading club day. It's, yes, we have reading club today. Second of all, kids are getting their needs met, whether it is a kid who needs enriched, a kid who needs a little intensive support, or just a kid who needs a little bit of support in one area. They're getting exactly what they need. For 30 of those minutes every other day, these kids get to go somewhere else, get a new teacher, learn something different, instead of just being in one spot the whole time. It's good for kids because we know what they need. We're finally figuring out exactly what each child needs and what we can do to help them and how we can intervene to get them where they need to be. 4 times a year, we have what we call a data day or a data dig, and basically that is a meeting of the minds. Everyone goes to the library and brings all the data they have on their students, and from the data they see, we look at every single piece. So, for example, we take the Dibbles booklets, and we look at kids who have made core, we look at kids who are strategic, we look at kids who are intensive, and we decide what's missing in their reading, in the reading continuum, where are they lacking and where do they start. And we always start at the beginning, at the phonemic awareness and the phonics, and if there's a child who's lacking that, that's the group that they will be in. If there's someone who has made core in all of the phonics tests, and then we look at their comprehension scores and they haven't met it there, then that child will go on a comprehension group. And they're not stuck there forever. As soon as a child meets the benchmark in progress monitoring, they get out of the group and they go to the next one. And I have to say that's exciting for kids too. Just recently I had a little girl, I am teaching the nonsense word fluency group, and she met the benchmark 3 times, she was out of the group, and we had a little celebration. Every other kid is now like, I want to do that, I want to test out. So, I mean, it's working towards a goal, and it's a constant changing thing. The kid is never, once they can do what they can do, they get to go do something else, which is wonderful. We love it. I mean, it's a lot of work. I will admit it's a lot of work, but it's worth it, and I think that's a thing. Especially in the 3rd year of this process, I see it really working, and I see kids moving, and I see kids making growth. And so even though it is a lot of work and it's a little bit of added workload than it used to be, in the end it's totally worth it. So as a teacher, you finally get to see the kids that you're working with move, whereas a lot of times it's like, oh, this kid in my class made progress, but now it's like another kid in another class made progress, and it's sort of a celebration. You know, we're in those data days like, yes, look at all the kids we've moved. So yeah, I mean, you absolutely see improvement. I've seen it already in the first 3 months of school. I mean, kids who have gone from not being able to read a whole word and who are now reading 10, 12. The girl read like 18 the other day and was so excited. So it's wonderful.
As with any grade level, to have students who are fluent readers. So as students are coming to us from kindergarten, we're hoping that they have a solid foundation in knowing sounds and letter recognition and being able to take those sounds and letters and make words and then be able to do things with those words. RTII allows us the opportunity to work with students then who might not have a strong base coming into 1st grade, to be able to work with them to fill in some of those gaps that we need then to be able to move through 1st grade at a certain level. And then it also targets those kids who come into 1st grade reading maybe above grade level, that we can do some enrichment with them as well. And then for kids who are on the 1st grade level, it's just that extra reinforcement they need to continue to progress through the skills that we are teaching in 1st grade. We do what's best for students, and we know this is what's best for students, so there's definitely that feeling at Mount Holly. The teachers I work with personally with RTII and grouping students, you know, again, we're always very willing to help each other out, and really it's nice because it becomes a collective group, you know, that we're working with. It's not just my students. You know, I very much am aware of where the needs are in the other 1st grade class, as well as knowing my students that I had last year that now I work with in RTII because they're in 2nd grade.
I've seen a huge difference in my fluency, because when we analyze the Dibbles booklets, I can see specifically what weaknesses they are, and then create lessons for those students in my reading block and the intervention block that address those specific needs. They love that they can challenge themselves to be part of the enrichment, and they can work themselves out of it. If they're in one specific group, if they work hard enough, it's not something long-term. They can switch. Parents love it. They come to conference, we tell them they already know what intervention group they're in, we send all that data home with them, so they can come in and say, how's my student doing, or my child doing in this specific intervention group, and we have all the data support it. It's a great conversation piece with parents.